Walt Disney got started professionally in Kansas City, drawing laughograms, and when that went out of business, working for Kansas City Film Ad. He and his brother Roy, thinking that they could do better, left for the West Coast, California, eventually producing Steamboat Willie and the Three Little Pigs, and they were on their way. Disney was a visionary. He had big plans for animation, which others could easily dismiss as mere cartoons, kids' stuff. He produced Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Pinocchio, becoming the undisputed leader in animated filmmaking, and, by the way, the founder of a corporate empire. Chuck Jones always gave the nod to Disney. He had the money, the equipment, the time, and the studio full of talented artists, many of whom had followed Walt out to California from Kansas City. Jones went to work for Disney once, but everyone had to wait for the boss's approval on any piece of work, and Jones could not abide that, so he left after a few months, saying that the only job worth having at Disney was Walt's. In 1940, Disney Studios came out with Fantasia, a huge risk. It was expensive, costing about $3 million, money Disney didn't have. It was complicated, requiring the cooperation and coordination of many crucial assets, including the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra and Maestro Leopold Stokowski. The movie had to be shown with a new and finicky sound system installed into every theater that showed it. And there was no single compelling story. Instead, there was an MC, Deems Taylor, a music critic and composer, hardly a big drawing card. Reviews of the movie at the time were wildly mixed. Some called it magnificent, a masterpiece, even the greatest movie of all time. Others, mainly classical music devotees, were shocked and revolted at seeing great music linked to cartoons, most especially dancing hippos and creepy crocodiles. After many re-releases, the movie did make a profit and is now considered a classic. I saw it when I was young, and I thought, following upon my interest in Chuck Jones and the cartoon as art, that I should take another look at it. It is comprised of 9 separate pieces, each linking music to some kind of visual interpretation. The first 2 are the Toccata and Fugue in D minor by Bach and Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite. These are fetching and reveal the flash of inspiration that visual art can bring to the music, but for me they go on too long and don't have sufficient, liveliness, which is what animation is all about. They are cute, but they lack impact. Things pick up with the third selection, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. That is understandable because it is the first one Disney made, and, upon its promise, he ventured into the much greater and more complicated project. It's a perfect story for animation, because that is the very theme of the piece, when the apprentice, played by Mickey, brings a broom to life, and like Dr. Frankenstein, fails to control his creation. This section is bursting with energy, tells a story, and is, I think, completely successful. Next up is Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, which the narrator tells us is interpreted with cold scientific accuracy. I don't know about that, but it does tell a creation story up to the end of the dinosaurs, stopping there so as not to fall into the evolution controversy. It is ambitious and a fantastic way to make Stravinsky available and even pleasing in a spectacular presentation to the masses, and it sparked, I think, the enduring public cinematic fascination with dinosaurs that continues today with the Jurassic Park franchise. There is an intermission. The orchestra then re-enters and tunes their instruments in shadow. There's some impromptu playing, swing jazz, and then the soundtrack is introduced, teaming up with 6 or 7 instruments to demonstrate very literally, and I think unnecessarily, the connection that is being made between sound and sight. Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony is next, taking place on Mount Olympus with centaurs and centaurettes, and Bacchus, appropriately excessive. It is something of a glorious transmutation, but it is also too slow in pace and much too long, at least for a modern, addled audience like me. Dance of the Hours is a ballet with the hippos and crocs. The ostriches are wonderful, the hippos are a blast, the elephants blowing bubbles are okay, and the Cape crocs are slithery and malevolent in a comical way. But overall, it's again too slow and way too long. The Night on Bald Mountain is the one I was waiting for. I wanted nothing less than to be blown away. I found it good, but not overwhelming or terrifying. It was too cartoony, and the most awesome devil is, in the end, wasted by the tolling of a chapel bell. The following Ave Maria is supposed to resolve the struggle between the profane and the sacred, but all it did for me was remind me of a president's call for 1,000 points of light. I liked Fantasia, but I didn't love it, which is what I wanted. Maybe it's me. Maybe too much time has passed. Maybe I was greedy. Maybe I've been spoiled by what CGI can do. I was a little disappointed. I wanted greatness, and I found extreme expertise, which is not the same.